going to begin today, though, in Russia, where President Vladimir Putin declaring he's been reelected for a fifth term after only token opposition, and token is a word there. The official election results give him more than 87% of the vote. Now, that sets him up to be the longest-serving Russian leader in more than 200 years. There were small acts of protest during the contest held just a month after Putin's biggest critic, that's Alexey Navalny, died in prison. Elizabeth Palmer has the story. Liz, good morning to you.
Good morning. This may have been an election, but it certainly wasn't a contest. It was stage managed so that Vladimir Putin was the only real candidate on the ballot. The other three choices were pre-approved Kremlin cutouts, so the result was a foregone conclusion. Vladimir Putin used his victory speech to warn the U.S. and the West that he is going to win the war in Ukraine. No matter who wants to intimidate us or suppress us, he said, they have never succeeded, and they will not succeed, ever. With a solid economy in spite of sanctions and his military making gains in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin convinced a majority of Russians that he was the strongman they needed, says Thomas Graham, distinguished fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations.
The elections have demonstrated once again that he's the master of the political situation in Russia. And it's not so much that 87% vote for him that's important, it's the turnout, which was nearly three-quarters of the Russian electorate.
During the election run-up inside Russia, all opposition was ruthlessly suppressed. Outside, though, there was plenty. At Russian embassies across Europe and in Washington, Russian exiles lined up to vote and to protest. Many had supported the late opposition leader Alexey Navalny, who died mysteriously in a Russian prison last month. His widow, Yulia, now in Germany, was asked if she had a message for Putin.
He's a killer, he's a gangster, he's the person who brought my country to the war.
In Moscow, Putin spoke about Navalny directly for the first time. About his death, Putin said, "It's very sad, but these things happen." To deal with an emboldened Putin, the U.S. will have to both fight and engage him, says Graham.
We also need to find a way at some point to open up some sort of channel of communication with Putin.
Top of the diplomatic to-do list are negotiations on managing and even reducing nuclear weapons stockpiles. Those talks, if indeed they happen, are going to be as difficult as they are critical. Tony?
Liz, thank you very much.